Lesson 7 Homework Question 12. Use the appropriate function in Excel to answer the following question. How much money would you have in a savings account at the end of 3 years if the following assumptions were true? You make payments of $30 a month to your savings account every month for 3 years. Your savings account has a fixed APR of 1.1%. Note, a fixed APR is an annual interest rate that does not change during the 3-year period. You will not take any money out of your savings account during this 3-year period. You have no beginning balance. Over here on the right, I've set up a little bit in Excel so that we can work through it. There's lots of different ways that you could find this. The fastest way is what they are asking for you to do here. So I'm going to actually go the long way first so that you see just how fast it is to do the fast way. The long way is listing it out every single month. The first thing I'm going to do is type in months. If you'd like to skip forward so you don't have to see the long portion, that's fine. 2 and so forth. Or I can create a formula here and say equals the previous month, add 1 so that it moves with me. But Excel actually picks up on patterns and it'll be fine too. Okay, so then we enter in the beginning balance, which we know is 0 because they told us that you'd start with nothing. Now to calculate the interest, we're going to do equals and cell reference the interest. Now we want this APR to, or the interest to always reference this APR. So I'm going to do function F4 for a PC or Command T for a Mac, and then divide this by 12 because we'll be making monthly payments, and then multiply this to the beginning balance, and that's how we find our interest. Now right now, because that beginning balance is 0, the interest is 0, but as we click and drag this down, it will continue to calculate as we add money into the account. The payment is $30 and I can just type in 30, or I can cell reference up here. If I cell reference this, I need to do an absolute cell reference. So again, function F4 or Command T, and that will cell reference the payment, or you can just type it in. The ending balance will be the sum of everything here at the beginning, the interest, and the payment. Then the next one will be the previous, the beginning balance here will be the ending balance from the previous month. And then I just cell reference that. Now I don't want to absolute cell reference that because I want this to continue to change as my payments increase that ending balance. Okay, so again, this one, I didn't want to absolute cell reference the beginning balance, so it'll come with me, and I can just click and drag here and verify that, yeah, it is calculating this same interest, which is good. I wanted it to absolute cell reference, and to the left, I want the beginning balance to continue to drag with me. The payment, I want it to stay 30, yep, and I can double click in there just to verify. Don't click anywhere else, press enter to get out of that. And the ending balance, I also want this to change with me too. Now, oops, Control Z if you do click out of there, press enter. If you want to format these cells so that it is showing in dollar, that's great, you can do that as well. Okay, now that all of these are correct, I can click and drag down. We wanted to find the ending balance at 36 months. And so I'm going to come back up a little bit and end at 36. Now you'll notice these number signs or hashtags, as some of you call them. It just means that my my column is not big enough and I need to extend that out so that I can see the numbers inside. And there's our final balance of $1,097.51. Now that was the long way. The fast way is actually doing cell referencing or typing in with the formula, either way. So the first thing I want to do is the future value function because I'm looking for a final value at some point in the future. Open the parentheses and it prompts me what to put in here, and I just need to remember what to do. The first thing is the rate, and I'm going to go ahead and cell reference. So I'm going to cell reference my rate and divide by 12 because I'm making monthly payments, right? The number of periods here is months times years, so 12 months times 3 years are 36 periods that you will be paying $30 into the account. Comma, the payment here is $30. Now, while it's going into your bank account, which is really money for yourself, it is coming out of your hand to the bank. So we're going to do -30. If you want to, you could go ahead and just put a negative at the beginning of the future value, but either one will take care of that so that it will be a future value that shows in your bank account. The next one, PV, stands for present value, or the principal, and in this case I don't have any. Oh, I should have cell referenced the -30 here. You can do that. There we go. Then the principal here is 0, and don't worry about that type. It's just, it changes a little bit if it's at the beginning of the month versus the end of the month. Don't worry about it. These in the brackets here at the end are optional. You do not have to type it in for it to calculate. So I actually didn't need to put the present value in, and it will just assume that it's 0. All right, I can close a parenthesis or just press enter and it'll calculate it. And that was much faster than doing it month by month. The other way of doing it is, again, still doing future value, but just typing in the numbers instead. So for the rate, I need to type in 1.1%, but I can't just type in the percent, so I have to change it back to the decimal. Moving the decimal over 2 to the left gives me 0.011. Then divide this by 12, comma. Number of periods is 12 months times 3 years. The payment, again, is -30, and the present value is 0, and either way I will still end up with the final value. The last way is what we required students in past courses to do, which is the equation. The equation here is, let me bring it up, is this equation right here, which the students had to do in past courses. There are about 4 to 6 versions of equations like this that you would have to type into Excel, and it will end up working out, but it is dramatically longer and probably not very practical because many people won't remember those equations, but they can remember, especially Excel, where it prompts you how to use the formulas in Excel. So I'm actually not going to go through that one, but we can type in our number here of $1,097.51, rounding to the nearest cent. We can verify with our check mark and move to the next one.